Okay, thank you everyone for coming on board this Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. for this sharing session by Mr. Poh Ted Ang, our ASEA Diamond in Malaysia itself. It's been inspiring us with a lot of success, philosophy and principle with his 8 success of training. Poh Ted Ang has many years of experience in terms of network marketing as well as a trainer. Is Canfield Certified Trainer, and today it's my honor and pleasure to be able to present to you guys on Poh Ted Ang's training on 8SUCCESS 1-hour training. So with that, let's give Poh Ted Ang a big hand and welcome him to this training this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek Chiu, and thank you everybody for dialing into this Saturday afternoon training again. This is our 7th week that we have done this particular training on the 8SUCCESS principle, and I really want to congratulate every one of you who have actually attended since the first particular training that was 7 weeks ago. All right, and it's really a journey, and it's great. We are going to be doing another one of these training session next week. And it will be the last of the 8 weeks training that I'll be doing. So the 8SUCCESS principle is talking about how to get from where you are to where you want to be. It has often been said that the principle works. A lot of time we cannot duplicate a personality, but we can often duplicate a principle. And principle works if you work on the principle. So today what we're going to do is that we'll be talking about lifelong learning. Commit to be a lifelong learner. How to get from where you are to where you want to be. In the previous week, the first training that we did was take 100% responsibility for our life and for our results. This is so important because this is the core foundation of this particular principle. We talk about if you want to take 100% responsibility for your life and for your success, you have to give all out blaming, you have to give all out complaining, and you have to stop making excuses if you want to achieve success for your life. So the other principle is that we talk about you got to act as if you are 100% responsibility for your life and for your results. This is particularly true because there are certain situations not within our control, and you have still to take 100% responsibility because if you want to get a good results, all right? So the other things, principle that we thought about, that we were discussing was decide what you want, envision your ideal life. Imagine that you can have everything in life that you want. What would that be? What would you do and what would you be wanting to have, right? Number 3 is that the third seminar that we did was unleash the power of goal setting, how to turn your dreams and vision into measurable goals, meaning to say set goals with a time frame. How much by when. And the 4th principle we were talking about was the power of visualization, how to use this principle to your advantage to create success, because our mind would not know what is real and not real. But if you can empower yourself using the power of visualization, you can take it to advantage to create the success you want. Meaning to say you can dream as big as you want. You can visualize the success you want. You can visualize all your dreams, all your vision that you want to accomplish for your life. And over a period of time, you'll be able to see that you will come into realization. Principle number 5 that we talked about was taking massive action. If you take massive action, you reap massive rewards. I think this is the law of life. It is about sowing and reaping. So it's very important if you want to achieve big success for our life, you got to take massive action, all right? And principle number 6, last week we were talking about practice persistent, never give up. This is a very powerful principle because a lot of people do have big dreams, they do have big goals, and as they were about to pursue their dreams and their goals, there may be obstacles, there may be roadblocks in front of them, and they will start to give reason and they will make an excuse to not to pursue their dreams or their goals. So it's very important is to keep on practicing. The more you practice, the more you're going to get the motivation to be persistent, and eventually you will arrive at the destination. And principle number 7 here is commit to a lifelong learner. never give up, commit to a lifelong learner. So this is a very important principle, especially for me. Success is a journey, it's not a destination. For me, it is not what I get as I move along life journey, but more important of all, what I will become at the end of that life journey. So it's the becoming, it's not what we are getting, because if we want to become successful in life, we have to think about being able to give, being able to add value to people, being able to equip people. That is the principle. So commit to a lifelong learner is to become more of ourselves, to grow as an individual. And every one of us here, if you were to really understand, we are all created with a very unique and special talents and gift. Look at our own fingerprints. If you were to look at it, no fingerprints, no two fingerprints in the whole world will have exactly the same as yours. Even though you may have twins, they will never have the same fingerprints. So this is very important. Committing to be a lifetime learner or lifelong learner, you need to take 100% responsibility. So no blaming, no giving our excuses, and no complaining along the way in your journey of learning. All right. So it has been said that who you are today is a gift from God, and who you become at the end of that life journey would be your gift to God. And this is so profound, especially when we look at the gift and talents that we are all given. Sometimes we look at the dreams that we have, the gifts that we have, the talents that we have. We do not want to bring it at the end of our life journey to be buried together with our coffin, but to really live it out. And to be able to live it out, we have to commit to discover it in our journey. As you remember, my commitment to be a lifelong learner started way back in 1986. It started with one of the very special events that I attended. It started with believing that you can be someone great. It started for me is that I believe that I can be someone great. It was a speaker who was actually on the stage that was speaking about this particular subject. As you remember, it was actually the evening of 1986. It was a Saturday. And together with my two brothers, Tek Huat and Tek Lim, and a friend of mine, his name is Chang Hong, we attended this very first motivational seminar that we ever attended, the first one, all right? And the title of the seminar was Believe in Yourself, You Can Be a Great One. And it was conducted by one of the Malaysian master motivator. His name is David Goh, Dr. David Goh, whose powerful voice really kept us spellbound the whole night, throughout the whole entire evening. Both my brother and I, and my friend who were aspiring entrepreneur, who wanted to be successful, was so inspired by his story on his struggles. It's not all about his successes, all of his successes, but his struggles and how he made good of his life. And his story really reminds me of the struggles that I personally have went through, even during a very short span, coming out from high school as a sales agent and starting my own business way back in 1986. And I sat down there listening to him. I thought the speaker that is Dr. David Goh was speaking to me directly, like he was touching, impacting every fiber of my being. That how could this young man without this tertiary education for me can make good of his life and become such a successful entrepreneur? And deep in my heart, I said, I want to be someone like him. I want to be someone like him. And in closing of that particular seminar, one quotation really inspired me, even up to now. It's a quotation by Zig Ziglar. And he says that men were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and is endowed with the seed of greatness. That within each and every one of us have that seed of greatness that we can become successful. And that particular quotation really up to today, I will memorize it and really internalize it, and talking about that we are designed by God for accomplishment. We are engineered for success. So we are not, and we are all endowed with the seed of greatness. And that seed of greatness can be nurtured to grow to become someone great. So he said that at the end of the seminar, is that you can be a great one. That really, really inspired me. Today, Dr. David Goh have written a lot of books. Last year, he coached me to write a book called Building a Better You, which I owe all of you the e-copy, which I'm going to send to you all. It's still in the progress of translating into the e-books, all right? And he has spoken stages with a lot of top international motivational and international speaker, inspiring speaker from many, many different countries. To that, he has spoken to hundreds of thousands of people on this particular passage that you got to believe yourself, you can be a great one. So partly for you in your journey of your life, you need to make a decision to commit yourself to be a lifelong learner. And you all have to start with the words called belief, right? You have to start with the words called belief. And for me, I wanted to do something that is great. I want to be able to leave a legacy. I want to become a person of influence that I'll be able to impact lives positively around the world. And to inspire people to succeed as well, and to help people to succeed through business. And that is exactly my mission. That is exactly what I wanted to do. So, like what I mentioned a while ago, success is the journey. It is not a destination. At the end of that life journey, what I wanted is to be able to make a difference in the lives of many, many people. So in 1986, what we have benefited from the evening of this powerful motivational talk that was presented by Dr. David Goh. In 1987, together with my brother Ted Lim, we said that why not we start this particular business of bringing a lot of these experts and gurus to come into our city to teach about personal leadership development and to provide training for individuals and corporations. So we became the pioneer training provider way back in 1987. So I want to share with you here, way back in 1987, a lot of people do not believe in investing in training. So we have to work very, very hard to promote all our seminars, our workshop, and we have go to office to knock on doors to get people to say that you got to engage on personal leadership development. To me, way back in 1986, I already understand the importance of personal leadership development. The reason is because I do not have a very high education. I do not really succeed well in my formal education. So I was going straight into business. And in business, I also do not have a lot of experience. So everything is based on trial and error. So during that period of time, I have to go door to door, talk to individuals, talk to corporation. And one of the things that we always would convince all our prospect is the importance of ongoing personal leadership development. And I still remember sharing with them the 4 stages of learning to help them to understand the concept of learning. Why is it important? And the benefit of becoming a lifelong learner. And these 4 stages is also very important for you. Because why? If you do not understand these 4 stages of the learning process, likely is that many of you may not even know why you need to learn. And some of you may thought that you have really know it all already and you stop learning. And that is very, very dangerous. So here, let me ask you a question. Have you heard about the Nyarib language? The Nyarib language is actually a language from South Africa. It is one of the rare, very rare language now that very few people, maybe 4, 5, or 6 people are actually speaking this native language at the moment. So I'm pretty sure you are like me. I also do not know what is this particular language all about. Nyarib language, all right? So what that's really bring me to here is to understand these 4 stages of learning. So for you, you were unconscious. You never know that there's such a language in this world called Nyarib language. So your unconscious competence, you are unaware of the skills and your lack of the proficiency at this particular stage. And it's very important to understand this. There's a lot of things that we unconsciously do not know. that we are incompetent until when we are pushed and faced with a challenge that we need that competency to execute. And we suddenly realize that this is something that I don't even know that I don't know, right? So the next step that you're going to see is that we are talking about the conscious incompetence. The conscious incompetence is the stage where you are aware of the skill, but not yet proficient with it. It may be in network marketing. There are certain skills that you know. Before that, you never know that you need that skill. But now you realize that you are conscious that you need that skill. So you know that you are not competent enough to execute that skill. So you are aware of the skill, but not yet proficient. The key words here is not yet. A lot of people who subscribe to the saying say that I don't know how to do it. So you say that you do not know how to do it, you practically will stop at this particular stage where you are consciously incompetent, but you are not willing to change and to learn. All right. So it's very important to say you are not yet proficient, and what you need to do is to go to the next step to be a conscious competent. That brings you to the third stage where you are able to use the skill, but only with effort. See, a lot of us here, when we at this particular stage, we may be very conscious that you are competent. It's just like you go for what I call car driving, right? Lesson. I still remember when I first started, I thought that driving is easy. So I was unconscious, incompetent. I was just a young kid, playing how to drive car. And when I begin to realize that consciously that I'm incompetent, and I wanted to start to learn how to drive way back in 1985. I still remember the way I learned how to drive car is not using the automatic gears. It's actually using manual, right? So when we started to learn, the first couple of lessons, the first 10 to 15 lessons of a half an hour lesson, we was driving so slowly, right? We are conscious that we are incompetent. We are so focused. We look at the steering wheel. We look at the mirror, the rear mirror, the side mirror. We are so conscious of our instructor sitting next to us, and we are driving something like 30 kilometers an hour, and you will hear that people from behind you honking at you, get out of the way, and we are still focused and learning how to drive with the conscious incompetent. When we start to become conscious competent, meaning to say the day when we arrive at the driving school, where we started to go for the exam, and we consciously are competent, and the examiner gave us a pass, and immediately we got a license, but with the P license practice, all right, and we started to be driving. And guess what? The first day we do drive, and guess what? A lot of people, even after the conscious competent going through a life lesson, after they got the license, I've seen there are many of them still up to today are not driving at all because of the phobia of driving by themselves without the instructor. They have a phobia that they will knock down on people. They have a phobia that they have an accident, and they stop from actually pursuing the next step. The next step will require you to take practice after practice. So there's the reason why the last particular seminar we talk about practice persistent. Never give up. You have to keep on practicing. You have to keep on driving. Guess what? After 2 or 3 years, when you start to be able to learn how to drive, you become the next step called unconscious competent. Meaning that when you are performing the skill now, you become just automatic. At this particular stage, you can drive your car. Sometimes without your hands on the steering wheel, you can have a Big Mac on your left hand or the right hand. Without your hand on the steering wheels and on the gear if you are using automatic gear. And sometimes you can even be able to turn to the back and fight with your kids, or try to get your kids to be quiet behind the car, And there is the stage where you become unconscious competent. And this is the best stage that we all should be arriving at in doing anything. From unconscious incompetent, you realize that you need to acquire a certain skill. You become conscious incompetent, and you start to acquire the skill after consciously competent, you practice over time, you become unconscious competent. And I see all the successful people, be it in our organization like Derek Chiu, be it like Dr. Alan Noble, people like Trish Swankler, people like Tyler Norton, when they go up on stage and they were giving the speech, it is just at the unconscious competent stage that they don't even have to think. But what I want to encourage you all is that every one of us, it doesn't matter who you are, you go through this cycle, these stages of learning from unconscious incompetent to conscious incompetent to conscious competent, way up to become an unconscious competent. So be persistent in your journey to learn. With these 4 stages here, you'll be very confident not to give up. All right. So very important to understand this, that you need to have this learning, understanding this learning. Okay, sorry, too fast. Okay, the next slides here, what I want to bring you to is a writer by the name of Dr. Carol Dweck. I'm not sure how many of you have read her book. She is actually a Stanford researcher, and he lectures all over the world. And he has written this book called Mindset, the New Psychology of Success. This new psychology of success here is talking about the fundamental principle for personal development, how you can learn to fulfill your fullest potential. Like what I mentioned a while ago, that every one of us here are unique and special. We have a special gifts and talents that yet to be developed. What we want to do at the end of that life journey is to be able to develop ourselves to be the best we can be, to be the best version of ourselves, and is to fully discover our potential. And this book is written actually for parents, for business owners, for schools, and with regards to relationship. And this particular seminar that we are talking about is commit to an ongoing lifelong learner. So if you have not been reading books, you may want to start reading books. I used to be reading books a month. That was way back in 1998. Then after a little while, I thought that I know it all, so I stopped learning. That's where I stopped growing. It has been said that you are who you are based on the people that you are surrounded with and the books that you read. And leaders are readers. So you look at successful people like Bill Gates. I think a month he reads something like 20 books. And to be able to read that many books, you need to learn certain skill to read books fast, which I am lacking. And I need to learn how to read books fast. I only able to process everything that I learned from a book through like mind mapping. But this particular book is talking about mindset, right? Growth mindset is the foundational principle for your personal growth. And it says that you can grow from your current level of skills to the level of skill that you aspire. And you can really learn how to do it from this particular book by Dr. Carol Dweck. And some of us here who have already accomplished big feats, and you already said that you are already very successful. Some of you get discouraged because of your fixed mental mindset, right? If you have a fixed mental mindset, more often than not, you say that I've already accomplished or there's nothing for me to learn. And this is a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset actually triggers the huge gap between our conscious incompetent to our unconscious competent stage. Conscious competent, incompetent to unconscious competent, meaning to say stage 2 to stage number 4. The bigger the gap, the bigger the motivation that you should be having in terms of learning. But however, a lot of people thought that they already learned it all and they start to have a fixed mindset, and this way they are not growing. In the 21st century of a knowledge-based environment or world that we are at right now, things are changing so fast with data technology. And it is, if you are not fast enough, you'll be way right behind a lot of people. Competition is based on speed right now. It's not based on how much money you have. but it's the speed of being able to process information, the speed of doing things. It's not about the big fish eating the small fish right now in the 21st century era. It's talking about the small fish eating the big fish, but the swarm of it in the speeds, all right? So fixed mindset people, what they are missing here is that, like just now we mentioned, they are incompetent consciously, all right? They are incompetent, but they are not willing to take to the level of unconscious competence, all right? So there's a lot of study and practice, and one of these particular quotation by Dr. Carroll here. This is actually about committing to a canine. Canine is actually from Anthony Robbins. It stands for continuous and never-ending improvement. So this is very important. Number one is that if you want to commit to be a lifelong learner, this is very important for you to do. And this I learned it from my mentor, who is my coach, who certified me to teach on the subject of the success principle. He is Jack Canfield, the author of the books called Chicken Soup for the Soul and the Success Principle. He said number one is that you have to decrease your TV time. A lot of time people spend a lot of time on TV. Isn't that true? Last night we were having a small church gathering and we were asking this question: how many of you here in the group, you are asking this question, during the lockdown you spent in a whole stretch of 4 hours on the TV, that you are glued there, right? And we asked many of them, thankfully, it's great to note that they did not actually glue themselves for 4 hours, but there is an increase of people spending their time on TV, on Netflix. And of course, it is good to spend time on the TV, especially smart TV right now. You can actually hook it up to your Google and start researching some of the very important topics, or go on YouTube to learn some of the podcasts on personal leadership development and all this stuff. But just to glue yourself on the TV for a straight 4 hours, spending ideal time, non-productive time with the drama, especially the Korean drama, I don't think it is going to be productive. It has been said that time is life. A time waste is a time waste forever. Time is irreplaceable. Time is irreversible. So time is life. So make the best use of time to invest your time not only on the TV. You can reward yourself once in a while with a nice movie show, but not all the time spent on TV glued just for dramas. It's important to study successful people, where we always say that success always leaves clues. So you want to become successful, you do not have to make the mistakes of a lot of mistakes that successful people do. All you have to do is to look up their success, their keys to success, their success principle. Read biography of successful people and learn from them what are things that you should not be doing and what are things that you should be doing, and that will shorten in terms of your growth curve in terms of learning. And number three here is that learn to read faster. Talking about photo reading, speed reading, learning to read faster. If you want to read more books to be more knowledgeable, you need to read faster. For me, I'm a slow reader. I am still a slow reader, but I don't want to have a fixed mindset that I'm a slow reader and I cannot read. I want to read and I want to learn how to read faster. All right. So the number four is attend conferences, workshops, seminars, other in-person events. This is very important. It has often been said, like for me in 1986, the Saturday evening for a powerful event on a seminar by Pastor David Go, Dr. David Go, really changed my life, right? So it has been said that events change your life. You can attend a Zoom event like this, like the people that you're connecting with, that is great. But you can also attend conferences, workshops, and seminar that is live in person, where you're able to mingle with all the people around you. Like I always remember when attending a big conference like this year, ASEA is supposed to be doing its 10th anniversary celebration down in Anaheim in Orlando. It's supposed to be a big thing because it's a 10th anniversary for ASEA. It's a big celebration. It's not so much of a celebration, it's about lives that is going to be changed when people gather together in this big group from different countries, different culture, different religion, different races coming together with one common purpose. And this way you see unity, this way you see power that is going to be generated, this way you see vision that is going to be casted by the founders. This will be see that people will start to catch vision and start to get inspired and motivated to do even better. All right. So it has been said that vision cannot always be taught, but it has to be caught. So to best catch a vision is to attend a live event and function. So even though we can't have this live event this year because of the lockdown, yesterday ASEA Global have just made an announcement that there will be a web conference that is going to be happening. All right. So also get all the team members to participate in that conference, because why? Is to get the whole team together to listen to the vision that is cast by the wonderful founder. You're going to see that a lot of life will be changed. A lot of decisions will be made during that particular event. All right. Number 5 is that commit to become a lifelong learner. This is the topic for today. If you want to continue to become successful or become more successful in life, don't have a fixed mindset, but to have a growth mindset, to become a lifelong learner, to continue to be curious, to discover new things, and to have the urge of wanting to learn. All right. During this COVID, I learned a lot of things. Yesterday, we also did an icebreaker where we asked people, during this COVID-19 pandemics, how many of you have tried some new recipe? All right. And apparently, a lot of people started to learn how to cook. They become a good cook. And in actual fact, I have actually learned not less than 15 different dishes during this COVID lockdown. Isn't that fantastic? So I'll be able to learn how a new skill of learning how to cook nice dishes for myself instead of going to a restaurant, especially in this lockdown. You may not want to go to a restaurant so soon. All right. The last is number 6 is to be prepared. To be prepared, as a Boy Scout, we are always taught to be prepared. That is our motto. Preparation is so important for success. It has been said that success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. If you want to become successful in life, you need to acquire all the skill that is necessary for you to achieve whatever success that you want. So you identify what is it that you need to learn for you to get from where you are right now to where you want to be. A lot of people have the mindset of thinking that there is no opportunity for me, so I don't have to prepare now. I'll just wait for the time when there's an opportunity, then what is needed, and I just go and acquire what is necessary for me to get to where I want or to seize the opportunity. And that is not the right attitude. It has been said that if you want to become successful, you need to be prepared for an opportunity. And it is always good to be prepared for an opportunity when there is none, than to have an opportunity and you're not prepared. Isn't that true? So be prepared for any opportunity that is going to be coming in front of you. So this is Dr. Carol Dweck's quotation. He said that in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So you take challenges as something that is exciting, is something that is not threatening you. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to review my weaknesses, you say, wow, here's a chance for me to grow. So this is two different mindset, right? So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to take you to this particular book that was written by Dr. Carol Dweck on mindset. And the first lesson that we're going to learn here is that mindset will often equals to accomplishment. Isn't it true? A lot of people have a mindset of looking at life, looking at things with lack mentality instead of abundant mentality. So you have a lack mentality mindset, you're going to achieve lack accomplishment. You have an abundant mindset, you're going to get abundant accomplishment. So especially when you are environment, especially like in the ASEA environment, where every one of us at the ASEA environment are always wanting to motivate, inspire to achieve great things. They want to collaborate with you. They want to help you to become successful. And that is the best environment for you to be at. Many a time our mindset is actually shaped by the people around us, the situation around us, the circumstances around us. So environment plays a very, very important part. So if you have a group of people, they are positive, they have a positive mindset, have a mindset of encourager mindset. This is one of the best environment that you can be at, that can nurture you to become the best that you can be, to be the best version of who you can become at the end of that life journey. All right. So lesson number one here is that there are two different types of mindset. One of the mindset is called the fixed mindset. All right. What is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset basically here is that says that intelligence cannot be changed. You said intelligence cannot be changed, and your desire to look smart, and this is what you will be looking at challenges. Right. When you look at the challenges, you will avoid challenges because you want to look smart. And you think that you're not intelligent enough. And when you look at the obstacles, you give up easily. Isn't that true? When you look at the roadblocks in front of you, you look at the obstacles, you give up. In the previous partner training, we always talk about obstacles and roadblocks and about pain. People, there are two P's that is controlling our life. One of the P is called pleasure. That human being move towards pleasure, and they move away from pain. When they look at the obstacles, when they look at the roadblocks, they look at it, it's too painful for me to walk through it, so I'd rather give up than pursue it. And when talk about effort, they see putting in effort as pointless. They have a negative thinkings about, if I put in this effort, I will not be able to get the results. They never understand the concept of sowing and reaping. So whenever they put an effort, they say that it's pointless, so no need to put in any effort. And this is the group of people, fixed-minded mindset people, they always criticize. And they do not actually, they actually ignore constructive criticism. When people try to criticize them, they also cannot be, because chances that they are always criticizing people more than accepting criticism. So for us, it is so important to understand that sometimes criticism is actually a constructive criticism that can help you to move from where you are to where you want to be. This is particularly true when you have a coach, when you have a mentor and mentee type of relationship. But for me, I give permission for my coach, my mentor, direct you to actually coach me in whatever areas that I need improvement. Whatever things that he have to say about me, about my ASEA business, I welcome it, and I told him and I give him permission to say, just give it to me. If there's anything that I've not done right, just give it to me. And that is my attitude, right? So success of others, when they look at success of others, they always felt very threatened. They feel threatened by the success of other people. They do not value looking at other people successful. Because in life, you want to become successful, like what Zig Ziglar said, if you want to become successful, you need to help other people to become successful. But if you have the fixed mindset of looking at success as the traits, when you go to a meeting, when you go to a convention, you go to an environment like in our ASEA, when we have an office, right? And there are different group of people coming together in a presentation, and you look at certain of the people, you are threatened by their success, then chances is that you have this fixed mindset, right? But rather, you should subscribe to a growth mindset where you do not have this type of thinking, because with this type of thinking, your success would never be reaching to the fullest potential. Next one is talking about growth mindset. Growth mindset, when talk about is talking about intelligence can be developed. Fixed mindset, intelligence cannot be changed, cannot be developed, but intelligence here can be developed. We have a powerful belief that who we are today, the gift that we are to have today, the talents that we have today are yet to be developed. We never subscribe to the idea of thinking that, my intelligence is because of my parents' genes, so I am who I am. So we can change, all right? We have the desire to learn when we have the growth mindset, all right? So when we look at challenges here, we embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. When you look at obstacles, we persist to face all obstacles. We'll be very persistent. We have the attitude of never give up until we arrive at the destination. We are willing to put in the effort as a path of mastery. We believe that what we sow is what we reap. We accept constructive criticism as key to grow in our personal and professional life. And we will always have success of others as our interest, all right? And we can learn from all successful people. It has been said that if you want to become successful, learn from all successful people. If you want to be successful, help enough other people to become successful. And that is lesson number 1 on the 2 mindset. Okay, lesson 2 is actually mindsets on sports, people who are in sports, all right? Talking about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was not born noble. As he came out, he became a very successful basketballer. Not true, right? Everybody here, Michael Jordan said, has the talent, but the ability takes hard work. So meaning to say that every one of us here do have a talent, but you need to have put in the hard work to actually cultivate, to realize your full potential, all right? So he is with MBA, and with his growth mindset, guess what? He have actually participated in many competitions, and many people rejected him. Many people don't believe that he can be a successful basketballer. He has been rejected by currently two big basketballer teams. And of course, today he is the legend as a basketballer. He have this growth mindset. The mom has the growth mindset, who always tell Michael, you need to work hard on your talent. You need to work hard on your skills. You need to work hard on the basketball, in playing basketball. So Michael Jordan will wake up every morning at 6 o'clock just to do his practice every day, all right? And the mom has a growth mindset. He has a growth mindset. And the growth mindset is found that success is in doing the best in learning and improving, right? And this is actually very important. A lot of people actually take success too lightly. They don't do their best in learning a certain skill, certain attitudes, and certain knowledge. And number 2, he was talking about he found setbacks as a motivation. So all successful people, like for Michael Jordan, he found every setbacks as a motivation for him. So he had been rejected. He took that rejection as a motivation for him. He have practiced very hard, and at times he may have the thinking of wanting to give up. But with the growth mindset, he will use that particular pain and turn into pleasure of visualizing that someday he will become very successful. So he found setbacks as a motivation, and he took charge of the process that brings success. Every success that we want, every success that we desire, will require us to go through a process. Lesson number 3 is mindset in business. We have mindset, 2 mindset, fixed mindset, growth mindset, mindset in sports, and now mindset in business. Here, this is Jim Collins, who actually do a research on how to get from good to great. It is all about mindset, all right? In 1993, many of you who know about IBM, IBM was doing very badly in 1993. Eventually become the CEO of the company and chairman of the company. And for him, while he was coming into the company, he saw that the company was having big challenges of people competing with one another, right? People are not actually encouraging one another. People are just criticizing one another, not constructively. But what he did was actually he came in to turn around the company. This gentleman is Louis Vincent Gaitner. Today he's a very successful American businessman, best known for turning around company. And here, what Louis Vincent Gaitner had was a growth mindset. So what he did was, instead of all these that thing was happening around the company, he turned around the company by having this growth mindset of encouraging teamwork and got rid of the uptight culture in the company. So basically what he did was come into the company and change the mindset of the people that is running the business in the company, encouraging teamwork instead of individuality, everyone trying to compete with one another. And they got rid of that uptight culture. And what he did was that in the next 9 years, he turned around this company to a positive 800% in terms of its value. So can you imagine that by just tweeting around, just changing the mindset, you can actually turn around a company that was struggling to a positive 800% in terms of the value. So what really happened through this particular incident here is that Dr. Carol Dweck argued that successful business need to train leaders, right? He said that successful people need to train leaders and managers and employees to have a growth mindset. The leaders in the company, the employees in the company, the managers in the company need to have a growth mindset, and this can be done by cultivating a growth mindset environment. So it has to be a culture. It's just like ASEA is a culture. It is an ethos. It's a group of people believing in the same value, the same mission, the same vision, and the same ethos and culture of actually encouraging everyone to become successful. And this particular process is, number one, is that what you need to do is to present by presenting skills as learnable, instead of skills as someone who have this skill and this guy don't have this skill and they cannot learn. So when you present in that particular environment that everyone can learn a skill, it will change the whole environment. So it becomes a learning environment instead of an environment where culture, where people wait for things to happen, right? And number two is conveying that the organization values of learning and perseverance and not innate talents. So what you do is convey organizational values in terms of learning and perseverance instead of looking at the individual talent. It is not that we do not want to look at individual talent. What we want the team to understand that every one of us do have a gifts and talent, right? So you need to develop the gifts and that talent. That's the reason why you need to be committed to become a life learner of the ongoing discovery. And number three is that giving back, feedback that promotes learning and future success. Feedback is one of the success principles. A lot of people are not prepared to receive feedback, or a lot of people do not have the confidence to ask for feedback. Like every presentation that I do, every training that I do, I often will ask some of the people who are attending my seminar and ask for feedback. Ask feedback on how did I do for my presentation? What do I need to improve in terms of my presentation? From a scale of 1 to 10, where do they rate me in terms of my presentation or my training? If it is a 5, I will ask them, what do you think I need to do to get me from a 5 to be a 10, right? And feedback is very, very important. And lastly, number 4 is that presenting manager as resources for learning. So this is very, very important, that managers in the organization can be a resource for your learning. Mindset number 4 here is on relationship. This is lesson number 4. Here we talk about a lot of people, there are actually 2 ways of dealing with pain and heartbreaks in a relationship. All right. A lot of times when people have a heartbreaks, if they subscribe to a fixed mindset, they will say that I'm not lovable, and they will start to revenge. Fixed mindset people will often be not able to have a very strong relationship or good relationship. If they have a broken relationship, more often than not, they have this fixed mindset of not wanting to have a relationship in the future. Whereas growth mindset are more often than not happy people. They are more understanding, they are more forgiving, and they move on. When they face a challenge, they move on. When they have a relationship issue, they don't sweat the small stuff, they just move on. So mindset in a relationship, again, number 1 is that you've got to believe that it can be developed. in terms of the qualities, your personal quality, your partner's qualities, and the relationship qualities. All of these qualities can be developed. Without this particular mindset, chances is that you find trouble, you find blame on everybody, you do not want to take responsibility, you will make a lot of complaints, and you will not make excuses to make the relationship work for you. Number 5 is the mindset in parenting and teaching. In the previous training, we talked about that every one of us are our habitual way of thinking of other people. Meaning today we have been programmed in our mind over and over again by situations, circumstances, by the people around us, by our parents, by our grandparents, by our teachers, by our upline, our downline, by our crossline, our sideline, and they are programming us all the time. And here when we talk about mindset in parenting and teaching is that what we say to our children and what the teachers say to the children actually shape up the thinking of our kids in terms of their future thinking, right? So very important here is that a fixed mindset people, we often will look at the message that we always will use, right? Fixed mindset message often than not is that we always say that they have permanent traits and I am judging them. You always have that message inside your mind. Whereas a growth mindset who often would say this, you are a developing person and I'm interested in your development. So can you see the two different? Here on the left-hand side of the fixed mindset, we're always talking about the permanent traits. Sometimes we label our children. When you look at them, you label them. Worst still is that some people label our kids like they are lazy, they are good for nothing. I still remember when I was growing up, I lived in a very poor, in a place that there's a lot of notorious people, a lot of negative people, and they often would, the parent and the kids would often exchange words that are negative. They always would label their mom, or the mom would label their children, or the parent would label the children. They always give them, interesting labeling like your traits, like you are good for nothing, you are worthless, you are very lazy, you have very bad attitude, and you keep on judging them. But whereas on the growth mindset, we want to encourage and develop person, and we are interested in development. We are not interested in where they are right now, but we're interested in what they can become, right? So lesson number 5 in parenting and teaching here, when we talk about sometimes the words that we talk to our kids are smart. Sometimes we say to our kids like this, you learn that quickly and you are very smart. And this can mean a different message to our kids or our children. Smart. In actual fact, the children may take it differently. It said that if I don't learn something quickly, I am not smart. All right. So the second things that we often, if we were to hear ourselves talking to our kids, that you may sometimes say that you are so brilliant, you got an A's without even studying. So sometimes this type of praise may give a wrong message to children by having them thinking that I better quit studying or they won't think that I'm brilliant. So here, lesson number 5 here on parenting, we talk about it's not that you don't praise the children, you still praise them, but you praise them on their efforts and the choices that they make, and not on the intelligence or their talents. This is very important. So the statement that we can often use that you really studied for your test and you are improving, your improvement shows it. Choose to read the materials over several times and you tested yourself of it and it really works. So you encourage the development. You encourage a person to continue to be the best that it can be instead of just put full stop there and say that is it, that's enough, you don't have to learn anymore. All right. So here this is Muhammad Gandhi. How to change your mindset. Live as if you would die tomorrow. Learn as if you would live forever. This is a very, very powerful mindset in terms of committing to become a lifelong learner. All right. And I will close with this particular story of Sir Edmund Hillary. I believe that many of you know Sir Edmund Hillary. Most of the people know him as the first man that actually scaled Mount Everest, right? But in fact, the first man who scaled Mount Everest, nobody actually knows who is the first man, right? But I want to tell you this, Mount Everest is one of the tallest mountains in the world, all right? The first expedition to the top of Mount Everest was way back in 1922. And the first successful expedition to the top of Mount Everest was in 1952 to 1953. And the first two men who reached to the top is Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzin Norgay, who is actually the Sherpas. The Sherpas is the people the native in Nepal that actually help people to climb up the mountain, and they are expert. All right. So both of them who reached to the top refused to reveal who make it to the top first. They wanted to emphasize that the whole expedition is accomplished as a team. All right. So today, in actual fact, a lot of people do not know who is Tenzin Norgay, but he was the first two men, together with Sir Edmund Hillary, to scale to the top of Mount Everest way back in 1953. And in 2012, there are more than 500 make it to the top. So 1953 up to 2012, there are around 500 that make the top. But it's still very dangerous. For every 100 people that who reach the top, 4 we have to die. 4% of the people who climb to the top of Mount Everest die. And most of the Mount Everest death is actually occurs when they climb down the mountain, not climbing up the mountain. And to recover the bodies, if you were to die halfway, the Mount Everest is nearly impossible. So on April 18, 2014, I still remember there was a very serious avalanche that killed 13 Sherpas. And what happened is that a lot of people now refuse to actually try to climb up the Mount Everest. So that is how tough it is for you to make it up to the top. So same goes for us in our journey of life. For us to climb to the top of the mountain is never easy, like Sir Edmund Hillary and this Dr. Tenzin, trying to climb Mount Everest. You have to really decide from the beginning on your journey that you want to take it up there. So that's the reason why I want to close by sharing with you these 7 points on how you can actually change your mindset, right? If you were to look at the mountain that is so big, the goals that you set, the vision that you have, for yourself and for your loved one and for the whole team, that you thought that it's impossible to scale that particular, to achieve that particular dreams and that particular goals. So these 7 key rules may help you to change your mindset. Whatever you do is that number 1, you got to decide, what you want and set goal and take action. A lot of people do not decide what they want. They are not clear about what they want. They don't dream big. They don't set goals. They don't take action towards realizing that. All right. And number 2 is that you've got to consider the possibility of success instead of thinking failure. A lot of people have that failure mindset mentality before they embark on any journey. They never think positive about success that they're going to be arriving at, but they only look at failure. When they look at failure, they practically paralyze themselves from taking the first step, right? Number 3 is that you got to act now. Acting is such a powerful motivation because when you set goals, you chunk it down in small, little bit-sized goals that you want to achieve and start acting upon it. You will start to garner enough courage and motivation for you to move to the next step. And the next step you take, from baby step to type, you're going to take to giant step. And when to act, the key words now is now. The only time you have now is now. Tomorrow is yet to come. Yesterday is already past. Today, it is the most important time for us to make decisions, for us to take action. So always live on the now, right? As we mentioned, time is life. Time is irreversible. Time is irreplaceable. Time loss is the time loss that is going to be gone forever, right? The 6th of June 2020 is only going to be today, right? Make the choice to act now on whatever dreams and whatever goals that you have. And number 4 is that watch out for the naysayers. There's a lot of negative people out there who is going to tell you that you cannot make it to the mountaintop, right? A lot of people out there are going to tell you that you cannot make it to the top, to the pinnacle of success at ASEA. It's just merely a dream. Forget about that dream. Give up your hopes. Give up, don't waste your time. You're just selling salt water. There's a lot of naysayers out there. But what you got to do is to become a lifelong learner, to really go and do research and learn skills, knowledge, and attitudes for you to equip yourself to go up to the mountaintop. SNIOP, last week I shared about this, it stands for subjected to negative influence of other people. All right? A lot of people allow themselves to be subjected to negative influence of other people. And worst of all is that a lot of people subject themselves to their own personal negative influence of their own inner voice that talk to themselves that you are good for nothing. You cannot make it to the top, right? They have this auto-suggestion, talking to themselves negatively. What we want you to do is to be able to go out there to talk to people positively, talk to yourself positively, because we do not want naysayers out there. We want an environment of positive, like-minded people. Number 5 is that welcome circumstances and situation positively. Whether it's positive or negative situation and circumstances that are presented to you, you got to take it positively. You got to act as if that you are 100% responsible for whatever circumstances, situation that is presented to you. You have to give all out blaming. You have to give all out complaining. You have to give all out making excuses for not reaching up to the mountaintop there. All right. That always remember that if you want to go far, go together as a team. You want to go fast, just go by yourself. That is a African proverb that says that. And TEAM stands for together everyone achieve more. Means that whatever you do, find a leverage, find a team of people that can work with you, find a culture of people, a mindset of people that are having a same mindset to work together with you. Because together everyone can achieve more or achieve miracles. Number 7 is that have faith in God. Think big, be positive, believe in yourself, and cultivate a growth mindset. And to close my particular seminar today, I'm going to end with this particular closing. So Edmund Hillary and the team actually scale up Mount Everest. They never make it on the first attempt. They actually went many attempts trying to condition themselves along the way up because of the altitude change, the oxygen change. They have to do training over and over again, get themselves to the fittest to be able to arrive at the top of it. There was one incident when he actually tried to scale, set his goal and tell the whole world that he's going to climb Mount Everest. And he did not succeed in that particular expedition. And on his way back, there was a group of reporters that were surrounding him together with the whole team of the people together with Tingje Noje, right? And the reporter asked him this question: "You tried to make it so many times right up to the top and yet you still fail. What is your thoughts about Mount Everest?" And Edmund Hillary actually looked back. Right behind him was a huge backdrop of Mount Everest. And he looked back at the Mount Everest and said this to the reporter: "Mount Everest have already stopped growing, but I am still growing. One day I will scale Mount Everest." And Sir Edmund Hillary became the first man, together with Tingje Noje, to scale Mount Everest as the first two to scale Mount Everest. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. I'll pass over the session to Derek Chiu.
Wow, thank you, Poh Ted Ang, for this amazing sharing so that we can aim high